Now on to talk of the nation. The Uganda Law Society says it is representing more than 300 people arrested across the country, many of whom were traced through a toll-free hotline issued by the society ahead of the elections. Now some of the NUP officials, including Muwanga Kivumbi, the Butambala MP, and also the NUP Vice President or in charge of Buganda region, have been produced in court. Now to help us get clarity on these matters, we are joined online by the Minister for Information, ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi. Good evening to you, Honourable, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm happy to be joining you at TV.
Honourable, first and foremost, congratulations on your re-election as MP in Kinkizi East. Now, the Uganda Law Society has told the country that over 300 people were arrested across the country before and after the January 14th polls. So does the government acknowledge these figures?
Well, I have cross-checked with police on the exact number, so I cannot confirm the figure as of now. But what is true is that there are Ugandans who were involved in the criminal activities around the times of elections. And definitely, when you breach the law, the police has the responsibility to arrest and take you to court, because much as when elections, one didn't have a license to just break the law. What we expect is that if they are arrested lawfully, taken to gazetted areas, produced in court within time, and then charged accordingly. That's what we expect. But I can later on cross-check on the numbers and be able to confirm.
Well, Honourable, reports are indicating that it is a particular group, the opposition supporters, that are majorly implicated and targeted in these arrests. What do you have to say to that?
No, that's not true. I think people don't move with the labels on their foreheads to say they are opposition or they belong to this. What makes you get into confrontation with security and police is if you break the law. Even if you are NRM and you break the law, police is mandated to arrest you. But it could be possible that maybe majority could have been opposition activists that were caught on the wrong side of the law, because parties like NUP were announcing that they are in the campaign to move a protest vote. And they were using a language that was inciting to the extent that they could have misled some of their activists, some of their young people, to engage in activities which are criminal. But it's not the political party you belong to that motivates security to arrest you, but rather if you have broken the law. And I'm sure some of those who have been arrested could even be supporters of the ruling party or any other political party.
So, Honourable, do you believe that such conduct by the state, in a way or the other, makes Uganda's elections credible? Because some activists say that such actions threaten, public trust in the electoral process.
Look, the elections were credible because the Ugandans came up to participate and they voted the candidates of their choice. You see, it doesn't mean that because you are going into elections, then the police work is suspended, security work is suspended. Police and security is there to protect you and I. And therefore, yes, the election went on, but those who break the law, they are handled by the law enforcement agencies. So the two are not related. It doesn't mean that lawbreakers have been arrested. Therefore, the election has not been credible. The two are different and are not related. But Ugandans participated. Elections took place in all parts of the country. All polling stations in Uganda were able to peacefully participate in elections, and the winners were declared from the level of the president, members of parliament, the local council elections. Some of them have been concluded, others are next week. So the elections have gone on, and there is no big problem. And the environment has been, by and large, peaceful, save for few isolated incidents. This election has been even more peaceful than the previous one. So there is no question regarding the issue of credibility. I think the noise is coming from those who lost, and they have to explain away the loss by saying they were cheated, there were irregularities. But you see, the standard is that if you are not satisfied with the outcome, then you have the doors, the courts are open. You gather evidence, go to court, and wait for court to give a verdict, but not just go to TV and radio and shout, you go into hiding. That's not what will make you be declared a winner. So I think, to me and to us as government, the election has been done, the president was declared, and as the day follows the night, in May he will be sworn in, members of parliament will be sworn in May, and the new government will start.
Okay, and now opposition parties, mainly the Opposition National Unity Platform, have said that their leader, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, is on the run. And just not so long ago, within the week, you came out and said that the state is not looking for him. There is nothing that the state wants to do with him. Yet, on the other hand, he insists that the state is looking for him, as also we did see from the posts of the Chief of Defence Forces on his X account. What do you have to say to this, Honourable?
Like I have been saying, the state is not hunting for the Honourable Kyagulanyi. Honourable Kyagulanyi has gone into hiding on his own. I am sure he has his own personal reasons why he's hiding. Yes, the CDF could have been tweeting, but I'm sure Ugandans know that the CDF is in love with Twitter. And I think he's just playing a psychological war on most of you. Like she said that when he gets Kyagulanyi, he will cut off his head. Do you, in your heart of hearts, believe that if Kyagulanyi came, the CDF will get a panga and chop off his head?
I can't speak to that.
How many people have you seen him chopping heads? He just loves the Twitter and the rights, and like I have described it before. They are just
but do you think that is the way a Chief of Defence Forces can speak on social media? If you're saying that he just loves playing with Twitter, what a way to play with Twitter.
It's not the correct way, but I've been telling you that the positions of government come from the Minister of Information, like I'm telling you. And the official position of government is that Kyagulanyi is a free man, and nobody has chased him from his home. If he chooses to hide, that is the right. He will hide until when he comes back, and when he comes back, nothing will happen to him. I am gathering that the reason for going into hiding is not because of the threat, but because of other internal issues regarding his party. I think he's failing to account. He's failing to account to his supporters why he performed poorly when they had raised the money for him. So it's not true that he is hiding from the state.
But recently, Honourable, I'd like to interrupt you there. Recently, we did see reports of his home being ransacked. Also, his wife, Barbara Kyagulanyi, coming out to say that she was assaulted and tortured in her own home. What do you have to speak to this? You're saying that the security at his home is meant to protect, but it's like they're crossing certain lines.
I also saw the narrative by Barbara Kyagulanyi, why I sympathize with her, but I think there was some level of exaggeration and maybe sensationalization of the whole issue. But we do not condone the action of the army and security people attacking and assaulting anybody, leave alone the wife of Bob Wine. And we are internally investigating to find out what could have happened. But officially, I can say we have no problem with Barbara Kyagulanyi. We have no problem with Bob Wine. And if there are soldiers who assaulted her and crossed the line and damaged anything, then internally they will have to be disciplined. I have been explaining that the deployment at Mr. Kyagulanyi's home is not meant to scare away anybody, but rather to offer protection, because understandably, this is a post-election environment where the attention, and we also need to secure his home, especially when he's not there. Because supposing you left the home there and some indisciplined person come and find the house. People will see it is the government which has banned. So the security there is there in good faith, not for wrong intention.
Now, Honorable, finally, in your closing remarks, there have been demands for a national dialogue to guide the country on how it can transition, power. Why is government reluctant or not interested in having this dialogue?
Well, while that can be a suggestion, but there is no constitutional basis for forcing a dialogue now, because Ugandans have taken a decision on who should lead them. So why dialogue? Why dialogue? If the opposition feels they would want to engage with the government, let them bring the proposal. Because Ugandans have voted for NRM. They have given NRM 5 years to lead them. So the NRM is not under pressure to dialogue with anybody. The dialogue was done through elections. But we have no problem as NRM if the opposition can tone down and we go into constructive engagement and dialogue and reconciliation. That would be okay, because all of us would want a peaceful, stable, and prosperous Uganda. So we do not have any problem at all whatsoever engaging with the opposition, whether Mr. Kyagulanyi, SJ, or the actors. But there is nothing forcing us to say you must go into a dialogue, because there is no crisis as far as we are concerned. People have voted, and we have a 5-year mandate, but we can talk to anybody, including the opposition.
All right.
Is not a problem.
All right, Honorable, thank you for making time to speak to us. That is the Minister of Information, ICT and National Guidance, the Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, of course, getting to clarify some of the matters that have been making rounds on social media.